Hello, Darkfall is launching on 26th, that's just in a few days. So I'm gonna go over what is Darkfall, what changed, what can you expect, and finally, is this the Darkfall we've been all waiting for? So a quick introduction to what is Darkfall. Darkfall is a MMORPG where you raise a character and pretty much that is the main theme. You raise a character and the game does not dictate you anything else. How you raise it, who you decide to ally with, play with, and etc. The main theme of this game is it's a conquest type of game. You'll make friends, you'll make allies with a lot of people, and you basically go to peoples you're not allied with and take over their towns and so on and so forth. There are other mini activities in the game, and so I'll start go one by one how Darkfall is different than other games we're used to. So the first difference is right away. This is not a tap targeted game. It's a game. It's like a FPS game, and you are. There are many things in here. Like you have collision, you have projectile, and you can't just run through buildings and stuff like that. So you can kind of like step on them. So everything you see in the game is it's a living piece of the world. It's not some artificial texture or something like that. So for example, if somebody is shooting you a magic ray and you're behind a wall, the wall will protect you and things like that. So even the mount I have, it's not like World of Warcraft where it's like an artificial mount. This thing, it's an object, see? It lives in that 3D world. So somebody can come right now and just steal my mount. So it's everything in this game is like that. It's a full ruled game. So if you die, somebody can come and take all your stuff. If you go and kill someone, you can take their stuff. So how is this different than games like Rust? There's so many of them nowadays, those survival games. The difference is this is one persistent world. You gotta live in it, and there is no reset button unless you delete your character. And your character is not gonna become a super character overnight. There is a whole development program. However, it's not like World of Warcraft where you have to go through certain quests, you have to farm certain, I guess, boss, dungeons, and so on and so forth. You have all that here, but they're not for like leveling purposes. Most of the mobs in the game are there for resource. So you can, when you kill them, you get certain things out of the mobs. So the other difference between Darkfall and other survival games, or even like games like World of Warcraft, is it's one persistent world. There is no loading screen, and the world is huge. And I believe when this game first came out in 2009, there was no other game that had a world of its size. So all that is maintained in Darkfall New Dawn. They did not shrink the world or anything. And one other difference is in Rust, there are like servers with like limits. You can have, I forgot how many max players, like 120 or something. Anyway, the whole point is at some point you can't add any more player because either the world is not big enough or you're gonna start seeing latency lag everywhere. So Darkfall New Dawn is built from ground up to be able to handle large battle between hundreds of players. In the same server. So the question is, so this is, I believe, the third or the fourth iteration of Darkfall. So there was the original Darkfall Online, and then there was the Darkfall 2, which is called like Darkfall Unholy World, and then Darkfall was licensed to two franchises, one a Canadian-based company, and one this French company. So the previous version of this game's iteration all pretty much died for the same reason. The game starts okay, but after a while it just becomes a game of survival. Whoever is good in PvP, is having all the fun, and rest of the people that are not all PvP focused are not making much impact in the world. So they slowly drop off. Fewer players to play with. It's like a chain reaction, so even less player plays. So we see this in the 3 iteration of this game. So how would this be different this time? The developers of Darkfall New Dawn made some fundamental changes to the game. It's no longer an arena or like a battlefield. You just go in and PvP. First and foremost, the developers add in mechanism which is gonna increase the diversity. It's no longer a game of just go kill others or get killed. So here are the things they added. They added titles. Titles mean specialization. You'll have to kind of choose what you want to specialize on. This by itself is good because it doesn't force everyone to become everything. Because by definition it can only be a few things. There are 5 titles to choose from. So this is gonna be a big help because if you want to be that crafter that specializes on an item, you can do that because not everybody can craft that item. Same thing with the combat. If you are if you're too much into combat, you can take all the combat titles. That will hamper you from crafting. So titles is one very good thing they added. The next thing they added is the local banking. This is what we needed in Darkfall from day one. What happened was global banking means you drop your items in one bank, they're automatically magically available in some other bank. It turned the whole game into a big arena fest. But now it's like, it's local banking. You have to have strategy, where you keep your stuff, and it by itself creates meaningful job, because if you want to live in 2 areas, you'll have to have some management of your inventory on both areas. They also made changes to the combat system. Those ridiculous bunny hopping and instant race spamming and all that stuff are no longer there. Another changes they made was the GUI itself was eating up a lot of the frame rates, and as well as there were a lot of lockups. They have fixed a lot of these issues. They have also fixed the client stability issues. Another big thing they added is you need to pay a tax for the holdings. This is a very good change, because before you'd have a small clan with a lot of good players. They're just gonna go and hoard all the holdings, and then other players are gonna have a hard time finding holdings. But now it's you have to pay a tax. It's called meditation point for clan. So whenever you take the holding, you better have a plan around it. It's not just like to grief people out of the game. Another game-changing thing they have done is they have removed all forms of instant travel. You cannot just go from east side to the west side of the map in a matter of seconds. You cannot skip the world is what the new way is. And this is very good because it brings in the whole sense of locality. Like now it matters like who are your neighbors, what kind of relationship you're gonna have with them, and it also helps like to not allow like a bunch of elite players to get together and start like taking over the whole world. It kind of gives that space to weaker clan to be on a quiet side of the map and build up their clan and slowly come to the war front. Other big changes include like the economy. They shifted things around. They introduced new items. They also changed like the gold flow. You can't just go and farm certain mobs for like a few weeks and become like have unlimited gold. Gold is like much more scarce, much more meaningful. They're also working on giving player more tools. Like they're coming up with free placeable watchtowers and things like that, which will be another game changer for territory control. So I think all the changes the developers made are the much needed one. These are the ones previous developer, even the other developer, they were a little too scared of rocking the boat. So they went with the usual changes of improving the stuff we are all used to in Darkfall. But this Darkfall New Dawn is truly revolutionary because local banking, no instant travel, titles. When you put all these changes together, now it forms into one solid game. A game that has a purpose, a game that has diversity, a game that has some longevity. Not like you go in, you level up in the first week, and then you're kind of bored because there's not much to do. So I mean, again, these are theory. We're gonna find all that out on the 26th. I'm a little bit concerned about the European servers. I hope like everyone in the US will still come and join. I'm playing from Texas. I'm getting like 130 ping, and it's pretty good. So if you are new to the franchise, you have to give this classic a try. And if you are like some of us who got burned by many versions of Darkfall, give it a try. This one is different. This is not just putting a new skin on an old game or anything like that. They have changed fundamentally how the game plays. Obviously there will be some people who will not like this kind of changes. They're more used to the old Darkfall. Not a big problem because we have the Rise of Aegon. And this one is for everyone that was not happy with the old Darkfall, the direction it went. This one is a different aim, different way of achieving it, a different way of engaging the players. So hope to see you all on 26th. I'll be streaming, and yeah, let's